Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show on this October the 13th, 2022, a Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. I'm glad to have you guys here. Now, okay, see if you can figure out who this is. It's a man, middle-aged man. And he's sitting on the street corner. And he's covered in old blankets and stuff. And you can obviously tell he's homeless. And he's got a cardboard sign sitting in front of him between his legs. And it says, food needed. Help, please, whatever, on the cardboard sign, I'm hungry, whatever, on the cardboard sign, okay? And looks like he's unkempt. His hair is all frizzled, he has a big long beard on him. He looks like he hasn't ate anything in a week. He's poor and starving and hungry, and he's got a tin cup, standing next to him is this man in a suit, in a well-tailored suit, and just standing right next to him. Is this guy, it looks out of place, this guy standing next to him. He looks like a lawyer, he looks like a well-to-do lawyer. So anyway, the guy with the tin cup, he holds out his cup, and he says, please, please, and people walking by, and this nice lady looks down at him, has pity on him, opens up her wallet and takes a $5 bill out and puts it in his cup, and she walks away. And he's like, oh, thank you, miss, he says, and as he walks away, this lawyer looks down at him and says, and grabs the $5 out of the cup and puts it in his pocket. And he says, only $910 more million to go after that five. Only $915 more million to go, and you're okay. Anyway, just my imagination running away with me. But see if you can figure out who that guy is. Anyway, listen, guys. Over in Ukraine right now, back in World War II. Let me just give you guys some reference. Back in World War II, they used to have something called the buzz bombs coming from Germany, and they would fly over. And they'd be going like, and then the motor would stop, and all of a sudden the thing would come down, bang. And they call them buzz bombs coming out of Germany. Well, we got these things flying over Ukraine right now. And they call them the flying lawnmower of death. That's what the Ukrainians are calling them. And they do the same thing. They fly along slow like the buzz bombs did, and they go, and you can see them flying along, and then they rain down on the cities and stuff. It's happening right now. And the Russians are launching massive amounts of these objects over Ukraine right now. What they call the flying lawnmower of death, they call it. Because it sounds like a lawnmower. It sounds exactly like a lawnmower mowing your yard. And it flies along real slow, and then it comes down, boom. And so anyway, that's going on. But there's another thing going on, guys. The credit markets have become unstable now. We've got the MOVE index is suddenly starting to move up again. I've warned you guys about the MOVE index. Also, got to watch the bond market. The bond market's getting up too high now. And, of course, the stock market's starting to roll over a little bit. But, I mean, what does all this mean? It means that we're finally reaching tremendous instability in the credit markets. And the Fed is going to raise interest rates again. Probably 3/4 of a basis point again. Because they see inflation as being out of control. Well, I'll tell you what's going to be out of control. The credit market's going to melt down. And we're on the verge of it. They want trouble, they're going to get trouble. Big trouble coming. And soon. And it's going to probably coincide with exactly what my prediction was. Probably on the Dow, when it starts to get down a little bit lower. I mean, I was predicting 26,000 way back when the stock market was like 34,000. I was saying this is coming. And now we're down below 30,000 and dropping. It's coming. So you just got to wait for it. It's going to be timed exactly when I said it was going to be timed, around 20, probably around 26,000. The credit markets are a little bit above maybe, you know, but the credit markets are going to roll over. And I mean, the volatility in the stock market right now is off the charts. When these credit markets roll over, it could very well yield a credit freeze in the system. And do I talk about panic when nobody can get any money in the United States of America out of their banks? And honest to gosh, I mean, then the Fed will respond. They're going to have to turn these policies around at that point. And inflation then is going to get out of control. But what choice do they have? They can't leave the system frozen because the whole country won't work. It's just nothing will function without money. Companies can't make payroll and stuff. I mean, your electrical providers, companies, if none of them can access their banks or make payroll, they got to re-kick it and get it started going again. And that means the only way they can do it is the only one tool they have is money. Anyway, let's get in there and take a look at the silver price today. Now, see, this is we got massive inflation. A big CPI number came in. It was higher than they ever thought possible. So we got massive inflation, and gold and silver prices are dropping, while price of everything else is going up. Well, the gold and silver's disappearing too. We got shortages coming, massive shortages coming, because the rich people, they know that this is the only asset supporting the entire world's financial system. And it's on fire sale right now. What do you think's going to happen? I mean, they got the big money. They got these big bucks. They know that their big bucks is going to at some point become little bucks. In other words, shrink in the purchasing power. And this is the asset classes that are going to enable you to maintain your fortune. I mean, it's just an obvious thing. They're going to buy up the real physical assets as much as they can. And this is all going to disappear very soon now. This is the moment, too, of something I've been preaching for years. I've told you guys there's going to be a silver shortage of real physical silver. We're almost there. I mean, we're getting to the point now where it's going to disappear. It's going to disappear, guys. And the premiums are going to go through the roof because there's not going to be any available. I can see a point coming in the not-too-distant future where industry gobbles it all up and you're not able to buy any unless you're like an iPhone producer or something like that. They're just going to take away your privilege to even buy it or have it. And the thing about it is at that point, you're thinking confiscate. They're going to take it? No, I don't think so. I think at that point, what's going to happen is you're going to be allowed to sell it and get rid of it, but you're just not going to be allowed to or have the ability to buy it. And in fact, I think they're going to buy it off of you. I'm probably going to demand that you sell it at that point in time because they're going to need it for their war machine. You know, I mean, for one thing. That's just for one thing. There's going to be an awful lot of demands coming about this war machine thing, you know, if this continues. This war is really, it's a horrible thing, you know. How do you... Oh my gosh, what can I say? Anyway, but this right here is absurd. That the price would fall on the spot price while there's massive inflation and inflation numbers are going up and the price of everything's going up. I mean, I'll try to point out the absurdity in this. If the silver price keeps falling, okay, and the price of everything else keeps going up, you're going to find that eventually things that used to be cheap, like gravel to pave your driveway, heck, pave it with silver. If gravel price gets higher than the price of silver, I mean, okay, the gravel price is doubling and going up and up and up. Things like stone, things like prices going through the roof on these things, and price of silver continues to drop. The heck, you know? Back up the truck. And this is what the rich people are doing right now. But you see, this is something that cannot be sustained. You cannot sustain this because that absurd thing I just told you about, where pave your driveway with silver, would be an indicator that there's lots of silver out there. And that's what they're doing with the paper. They're making lots of silver, but it's all paper. In reality, let's get back to reality. The reality is silver is disappearing fast and there's hardly any available. So it's not big quantities like what the market is showing in the spot price and stuff. Is that there's astronomical quantities of the stuff. Well, there's not. So eventually reality is going to set in. And there's going to be a massive moves in gold and silver to the upside. And this is coming because they can't hold this back. This is like a beach ball that's been held underwater too long. It's just gonna pop. It's gonna go. Anyway, listen, guys. Take a look here at the cryptocurrencies, and they've dropped. Bitcoin now is at 18,429, and we're looking at Ethereum at 1222. Okay, let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average today, and it's off by 52 points. But it's off by 20 points now. But this is very unsettling. The markets today, the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, Russell, all the indexes. It's very unsettled right now, and so I could see that we're on the edge or on the verge of a rather large sell-off in the markets. We're right on the verge, and we're going to probably hit that price target I was talking about, 26,000, before the panic really hits, and then we see the central banks say, hey, we throw in the towel. It's just like a war here going on with this financial markets and the Fed and what they're doing. And oftentimes an army will throw their everything they got at it just before they retreat. And this is the way with the Fed. They're throwing everything they got at it just before they're ready to retreat and go back in and go back to printing money again. They're going to throw everything they got at it, but they're going to cause this depression. Not a recession. They're going to cause a depression in the United States before they throw in the towel. And that depression is going to be rather hard to fix. It's because it's rooted in the economy. It's all the way through not just the Wall Street economy. See, they'll pump the Wall Street economy back up again with printed money. But the Main Street economy is going to be utterly destroyed. The people are too far in debt. Even if they lower interest rates back down again, and they say, okay, free easy money again, it's going to mostly go to the Wall Street guys, Wall Street characters. And, well, the people on the street, they can't afford to borrow any more money. They're all tapped out. All the Main Street economy's tapped out now at this point. And the consumer is just going to die. They've already maxed out their credit cards, good percentage of them. And so this is going to ultimately yield the point where they're going to have to step in, because Americans and Canadians and people in the United Kingdom are going to start starving unless they step in and start sending them money in the form of UBI. And that's coming. That's not here yet, but that's coming. Next thing is crude oil today. It's down 36 cents at 86.91. Move index today is 160. See, this is popping. This is going up. And this is already at 150. When it was at 150, it was way too high. And now it's 160. Heading for 170. And this is an indicator. For me, it's a massive indicator of the stability in the credit markets. And it's showing me exactly what I predicted of how they're going to coincide with around 26,000 down, or maybe a little more or a little less, with the move index going up at the same time. And it's timing. It's all about timing that's going to bring this this credit crisis, and along with the bond market too. And the bond market's one of your biggest indicators. It's a market that's like 5 times bigger than the stock market. Take a look at bonds today. We're seeing moves of 9.7 basis points on the 10-year. It's right at 4. It's 3.999. So it's 4% on the U.S. 10-year. It's finally reached 4%. 3.95 on the U.S. 30-year. And this is completely unacceptable to the markets. This is, the cost of money's going up. And, you know, it does give the Fed a little bit of room, though, like, to lower rates when they do get in trouble. Like, they're not on the floor like they were on the floor. They've got a little bit of room there. But still, I mean, the whole world right now, everything is starting to rock and roll and starting to break apart. It's starting to crumble. It's like the Titanic is sinking. And I warned you guys, I did shows on this. I said when it first started sinking, I told you. Now the ship is getting ready to list. If you know what that means, it means the ship starts to tip on one side. And then it becomes obvious to everybody in the world. Not just me. I mean, I told you guys this. I did a show that I showed the big Titanic. And I said it's sinking. Now it's getting to the point where everybody's going to know. So it's no point in me saying it's sinking any longer when it's obvious to everybody on Earth it's sinking. Then the panic sets in. And don't you think for 1 minute when that panic sets in that they're not going to run to gold and silver big time, but there's going to be none left. By that time, they'll be all gone. So what are they going to do then with all their massive amounts of printed money, and the Fed will be back in printing mode come then? What do you think they're going to do with all that money? Because they're not going to be able to buy gold and silver, or it's going to be all gone. The physical's going to be all gone. What are they going to do with all their money? All their filthy lucre. You know, their fugazi. What are they going to do with it all? Because there's going to be trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions. Like I said, they're going to print more than there's leaves on the trees out there. Well, they're going to have to move it off into something that's non-dollar denominated asset classes. So what is there? Gold and silver's now, remember, it's all gone. Well, there's only crypto left. Because like I've been preaching to you guys for years, it would seem in your mind that there should be lots of non-dollar denominated assets out there. There should be dozens of them. Start to research it for a little bit and you say, oh my gosh, up until 2009, there was only gold and silver. That's the only non-dollar denominated asset class. Like, that's not, it's precious metals. But then all of a sudden, cryptocurrency came along. Then we have 2 of these asset classes that are similar. So if all the gold and silver's gone, they're going to have to pour all that excess money off into cryptos then at that point. So even though crypto is in the gutter, it's not dead. And it's not going to die. Right now it's in the gutter. And it's unloved and unwanted. And enthusiasm about it is just, I mean, completely low. But isn't that what they always tell people out there? When enthusiasm on something's completely low and it's unloved and unwanted asset class, isn't that the time to, okay? Just think about that for a minute. Because, like I say, I know a lot of you guys hate to hear me talk about crypto. Right now, it's so unwanted. So they don't even want to hear about it, people. Like some people have invested when it was higher and now they've lost money on it and everything, and they're like, I don't even want to hear about that stuff. Ugh. And the price been going down lower and lower and lower. Anyway, but that's what I do here is I keep you on top of trends as they're coming in, like ahead of time. And so this is ahead of time sort of thing. You know, it's like, anyway, listen, thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.